perhaps, just perhaps, just putting it out there in the ether world or whatever, the most accurate portrayal of a courtroom setting ever to put on film is the comedy My Cousin Vinny, starring Joe Pesci, Marisa Tomei, excuse me, Ralph Macchio. Fred Gwynn plays a pretty good role in this movie as well. And let's just say, this is a funny movie. Still a funny movie. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, and I just revisited it in the last couple weeks here, and it is a hilarious movie. I would say Joe Pesci and Marisa Tomei had great chemistry on film. They really do feed off each other. Great lines between each other. They really did work well. Her saying, yeah, and you blend type of thing when he remarks about her. This movie is, like I said, it is still very funny. And it does flip a little bit some of these tropes around. Usually it's the Southerns who get made fun of for being like backwards and stuff. But in this movie, it's Pesci and Marisa Tomei's characters who get made fun of a little bit in this movie. So that is kind of flipped. It's talking about their accents. And like she said, yeah, you blend when, they're trying to fit in to this community, this small time community. And, they're wearing clothes that particular Southern, you don't see in Southern culture, especially back in the 90s. Probably still don't, but I was just down in Tennessee last year, maybe 2 years ago, and they still don't wear those kind of clothing, but it was kind of funny to see like that kind of a fish out of water type of scenario. You do have like running gags in this that have big payoffs, such as Pesci unable to get any sleep throughout the movie because first they're by a railroad track, and then they eventually go out to the woods, and you hear that owl hooting in a weird way, and Pesci just goes out there with his pistol, just starts shooting everywhere. And then eventually, it rains real hard and they can't get out. He's slipping and sliding in the mud. And this ties into another joke of the movie going on where the judge, played by Fred Gwynn, keeps going after, getting after him for not wearing the proper attire to the courtroom. And by doing this, by the rain, getting stuck and getting mud over himself, his suit gets all muddy. So then he has to buy that like a magician outfit, suit type of thing. And the judge thinks he's making fun of him. Eventually gets put back in jail. And this time, Pesci don't mind because it's the only time he can actually get any sleep. You just got jokes like that going through it, like running gags, how they're kind of separate and then they all combine together for one scene. Is just hilarious. Marisa Tomei is fantastic in this one, movie as well. And this was kind of like during the height of Joe Pesci's career. You had this one, Goodfellas, Home Alone. I think he was also in... there's one movie where he played the landlord. I think I got the name in my mind, but it won't come out. But I'm sure if you're a Joe Pesci fan, you know what movie I'm talking about. It's right there, but I can't get it out. Anyways, this is when he was in a bunch of big movies. He was also in JFK with Costner. But, this was kind of like the height of his career. I think Lethal Weapon was in that run as well. And it's kind of interesting in this movie because when it first came out, you kind of feel like this was also Ralph Macchio might have had like the bigger name at this time, or just as big as the name as Joe Pesci. And for Ralph Macchio's career, this is him trying to turn away from the Karate Kid phase of his career. He came out with Outsiders. He was kind of like the standout star in that one in a lot of ways with that character Johnny, and then Karate Kid. And so this is kind of like time of Karate Kid 3, trying to turn a page. And, even though he's not the main character, so I guess Joe Pesci would be the bigger name, but this was his attempt to go to a different direction. And he plays his part really well. It's not like a letdown or anything. It's just that Pesci and Marisa Tomei is so good in this movie. They really do outshine Ralph Macchio, even though he doesn't really have any really good parts to make a bright start, but because his role is kind of limited. However, the best parts do go to Pesci and Tomei. Anyways, beating a dead horse there. And like I said at the beginning of this, this show is pretty accurate about court settings. I mean, I served on a jury duty before, which was a fantastic experience. Yep, sure was. Day and a half of doing that. But like everything that kind of happened all my time serving on jury duty was pretty much in this, was accurately portrayed. Like, not all the events when I was on jury duty, of course, was in this movie. I mean, they didn't criticize a person for not being able to see, but how, like, the material evidence was shown, that the prosecutor or the defendant have to show all their evidence to the other lawyers so they have time to read it and to see if there's a way to counter their argument and find evidence to contradict what they have found. Oh, that's great. Fred Gwynn, the guy from Monsters, Herman. I think I like his role in this movie. It's very good. And we kind of see two different traditions, culture, Fred Gwynn's the judge. He's not being mean. There's not really like a villain in this movie. You don't have a corrupt sheriff or a corrupt judge or anything like that. I find that these characters are basically portrayed their roles, kind of like how people are in real life. The sheriff and the prosecutor think they really do have their boys, the guys who committed this robbery, murder. So they're really trying to go hard on them. They're not fabricating evidence or anything like that. They're going by the book. And it's just, if there is a villain, it's just the process, I guess you could say. But going back to like Fred Gwynn versus Joe Pesci, he's trying to keep quorum and order and tradition of what a trial should be like. And Joe Pesci, he comes in, wearing like a leather jacket, kind of like your everyday clothing, and Fred Gwynn is just trying to keep this order and the prestige of the courtroom alive and tradition. So I really like that. I really like that there was not really like a corrupt official or villain in this movie. And it kind of shows like the difference between having for our defendants here, having a professional, having money to get you a good lawyer, I think the O.J. Simpson trial came probably a couple years after this one, and the O.J. Simpson had top money, so he had like top lawyers. These guys have no money, so they're given a lawyer, and he stutters real bad. He gets like stage fright in all the ways. He's a horrible lawyer, and even though, in the end we find they're innocent, because this guy is bad at his job and basically working, pro bono, you see, the quality of the lawyer that you have can affect whether somebody is innocent and guilty, and that's how it is in real life. Your lawyer, even though you're innocent, if you have a terrible lawyer, you might be found guilty of something you did not do. So I found that, that they portrayed that very well. A lot of great scenes in this one. I already say, you fit. I don't know. I don't really want to go see my scene, but it's just very memorable. Tomei and Pesci really do carry this movie in fantastically ways. Definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, watch it again. It's great. I think I watched it on Peacock, but I can't find it on Peacock anymore, so I don't know where you can find it these days. Anyways, what do you guys think about My Cousin Vinny? You like it? You hate it? What's your commentary about it? And let me know what your favorite parts were. And hopefully you guys have a great day. Bye.